Ulysses, Part 3, Nostos, Episode 17, Ithaca. The time, 2 a.m. The scene, house. We're back at number 7 Eccles Street, at last. The colour, Starry, Milky. Technique, Catechism, impersonal. Correspondences, Boylan is the correspondence of Eurymachus. Scruples and Suitors, and reason for B-LOU. The science or art is science. The meaning is the armed hope, and the organ is the skeleton. Symbols are comets. Other characters, there's really only 2 in this, apart from those we talk of. We have Leopold, Bloom, and Stephen Dedalus, but we do mention many people. Plot. What parallel courses did Bloom and Stephen follow returning? Starting united, both at normal walking pace from Beresford Place, they followed in the order named Lower and Middle Gardiner Streets and Mountjoy Square west, then, at reduced pace, each bearing left, Gardiner's Place by an inadvertence as far as the farther corner of Temple Street north. Then, at reduced pace with interruptions of halt, bearing right, Temple Street north, as far as Hardwicke Place. Approaching, disparate, at relaxed walking pace, they crossed both the circus before George's church diametrically, the chord in any circle being less than the arc which it subtends. What does this chapter consist of? The chapter explores with great detail the return to Eccles Street of Mr. L. Bloom and Mr. Stephen Dedalus, B.A., and their conversation, and further details about them. What are some of these details? These details include, but are not limited to, the list of the contents of their pockets, details of their urination, the locations of furniture in the house, and the death and birth dates of various characters referenced and or appearing in the novel. Does Stephen end up staying and becoming Bloom's surrogate son? Sadly, he does not. Bloom offers him the chance, but Stephen, without explanation, leaves. What more of Dedalus? Who knows? He presumably continues on being James Joyce. And what of Bloom? Bloom sits up for a bit, does odds and ends of accounting and other banal sorting, before ultimately he goes up to the bedroom, chats to Molly for a bit before they both go to sleep. Was the whole bloody chapter written in this infernal catechistic religious style? To the very end of it. So how does it end? With a question. Where? And how is this question resolved? With the biggest full stop you will ever see. How did he elucidate the mystery of an invisible attractive person, his wife Marion, Molly, Bloom, denoted by a visible splendid sign, a lamp? With indirect and direct verbal allusions or affirmations, with subdued affection and admiration, with description, with impediment, with suggestion. What self-imposed enigma did Bloom about to rise in order to go so as to conclude, lest he should not conclude involuntarily, apprehend? The cause of brief, sharp, unforeseen, loud, lone crack, emitted by the insentient material of a strain-veined timber table. What self-involved enigma did Bloom risen, going, gathering multicoloured, multiform, multitudinous garments, voluntarily apprehending, not comprehend? Who was Mackintosh? What self-evident enigma, pondered with desultory constancy during 30 years, did Bloom now, having effected natural obscurity by the extinction of the artificial light, silently, suddenly comprehend? Where was Moses when the candle went out? It's impossible to read the book alone for one or other protagonist, but not to read it for both. They are not an echo for any of the great pre-existing literary combinations. They're not Hamlet and Horatio, or Paula and Francesca, or Don Quixote and Sancho Panza, or Jacques and his master, or Hal and Falstaff, or even Johnson and Boswell. Their closest match probably comes in Vladimir and Estragon, written by the late and great Joyce disciple Samuel Beckett, maybe 30 years later. They are a truly unique combination that we grow to love and regret. And their crossed lines are a sadness to us. It's a natural parting at the end, but it's hard on the reader in many ways. We kind of want them to be together to support each other after a dreadful day of emergence from a cocoon that has perhaps harmed more rather than helped. This is the second longest chapter in the book in terms of pages and lines. Penelope has over 1,500 more words, so that's the second longest by words. And it condenses more facts and details that can be taken as true here than anywhere else in the book. This is due to its omniscient narrator. Thanks to them, we have a sense that we are learning facts rather than subjective truths for the first time in the novel. It's deliberate and dispassionate a chapter, and it avoids making these value judgments on the behaviour and the thoughts of the characters, letting us, the readers, do that work. It refuses to say whether Stephen's departure was a good thing or a bad thing. It merely states it was a thing. This applied dispassion, I think, is in part to force us to make our own judgments about the book and the characters. And towards the end, when we might feel overly sentimental and sorry for him, we hear how Bloom lies and what he lies about, both good and bad, to his wife. This is a world where Bloom is not objectively good or bad, and we must subjectively make a choice. All in all, a man, we must take him for what we think he is.
Still towards that twilight comes love's old song, and love's old sweet song.